Welcome back. You're hanging out with Abi and Ian, playing some nostalgic video games together as a couple. We're working our way through Pokémon FireRed, and this is episode 31. And I think Ian's about to tell us, because I don't know, why a Slugma is so integral to our plan.
Slugma. The slug Pokemon.
The fire slug Pokemon.
Where are the escape ropes? There they are. So...
We're escaping?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got what we came for. The mighty Slugma.
We were only on level 3. We could have just turned around and walked up the other two stairs. Okay, anyway, either way.
It was like Sabrina's gym.
just insurmountable.
So, Slugma is an interesting character because it has two special abilities that it can spawn with.
Okay.
It can spawn with flame body and magma armor. Okay, I've got it eventually. You go away.
You don't like Mr. Mime anymore?
Not compared to Slugma. Now, normally, in the game, if you want to hatch an egg, you have to walk a certain amount of steps dictated by the type of Pokemon. It could be 10,000 or whatever it is.
I didn't know it was dictated by the Pokemon. I thought it was just because it's an egg, walk this many steps.
Nay.
Nay.
Depends on the type. But Slugma, having a Slugma in your party with one of either ability, cuts the distance you have to walk with the egg in half.
Seriously?
That is the Lord's truth. Although, it definitely was the Lord's truth in Pokemon Emerald. I don't know how it is in...
That is so cool. How did I not know that? Because I didn't have the internet when I played these games. We're Googling. Don't mind me.
Before you Google that, would you be so kind as to help me find where Ditto are?
Sure. Ditto FireRed. Routes 13, 14, and 15 east of Fuchsia City, which is to the right. 15% encounter rate. Typically, they're between level 23 and 30.
Okay, and I think there's like a special patch of grass. Oh, we didn't...
Tall grass, it says?
Tall grass. Okay. I think I know where to go. I think you have to cut a tree and they're somewhere.
Okay.
What do we have?
It says reuse HM cut to reach the grassy areas on Route 14 and 15.
Okay. And they can spawn. I wonder if there's a way to make them spawn.
Maybe just walk around, you know? If it's a 15% spawn rate, if you keep walking around. Oh, we haven't seen a Farfetch'd yet, have we?
We certainly haven't caught one.
Well, I haven't noticed one yet. That's cool. Can you catch them? You must be able to.
I think you can
well, maybe they're leaf green. Maybe.
Oh, maybe they're region locked.
Maybe. Because in all the games, Farfetch'd is something you have to trade for. Trading a Spearow to an NPC in Vermilion City. I'm not attached to our Spearow if you'd like to trade it. At some point, we do have to do all the trades as well.
Yep. And
we should catch another Pikachu to turn into a Raichu, because I don't really want to give up our lucky Pikachu. My Grim's kind of attached to it. I believe in you. You can avoid all the battles.
Look how many people there were. Holy mackerel. Okay, Route 14.
Did we already do these?
I think we did.
We did. One of them.
One of them.
Somehow we avoided one of them. I don't understand.
Yeah.
What did we do?
So, we're looking for some Dittos, and the reason is because it will make breeding Pokemon a bit easier. Really what we're hoping for is we can catch a Ditto with a nice nature that we can pass on to Pokemon we're going to transfer to Leaf Green, and that will ultimately become our mighty warriors that are going to fill the Pokedex full to the brim.
I have bad news about the Slugma.
What?
Their abilities don't work outside of battle in Fire Red and Leaf Green, so it doesn't help with hatching.
Oh.
In this game. It works in Emerald, it doesn't work in Red and Green.
Oh, I think that's the Ditto patch.
I think that might be fantastic.
Well, for when we play the other games, it is definitely useful. I have no words.
I mean, I'm not even mad. It was kind of fun going in, catching a Slugma. That was a Pokemon from the National Dex. No one's mad.
It worked out.
And do they evolve?
Into Maycarnos.
No, but in Fire Red, do they evolve in this Pokedex?
I don't think so.
No.
All right, let's catch us a Ditto or three. We're looking for some nice natures like Modest.
Oh, because the nature is transferred. Mm-hmm. So whatever nature the Ditto has is the nature our egg will get.
If the Ditto is holding an Everstone, that will
we have
basically
one Everstone.
Basically guarantee we can get an offspring with a nice nature,
that's fun.
Which will be good. The tree looks like it'd be. Oh, we don't have our.
I do appreciate that you know all this stuff. Maybe you could teach us Slugma cut.
Hopefully, because then it could be useful.
Aw, poor Slugma. Why are you mean to Slugma?
No one is able to learn.
Be nice to Slugma. It's not his fault you don't know what you're doing.
In fairness, that's true. I really thought it would have applied to this game.
You know what? But it's cool that you know that. Mm-hmm. And it's cool that was a surprise you had planned. Because I was shocked. I did not expect you to say that. I expected you to say that when breeding eggs, if you breed with a Slugma, you have a higher % chance of getting a certain move or a certain stat. That's cool. Didn't expect you to be like, it makes hatching eggs easier.
Well, we're going to put them away for now. I would really like to...
You want to store Vaporeon?
Yes, I do. And I want to withdraw.
But aren't we breeding Vaporeon to get a whole flock of Eevees?
What is this anyway? It is a... Oh, it's a timid one.
I thought you were asking what Pokemon it was. I was like, sir, that's an Aerodactyl.
So that's not good. And then...
That's not good. Wow.
It's one of the worst ones. No, we had an Abra somewhere, didn't we?
We traded it, didn't we? I thought you didn't catch any more, but go to box 1. Maybe put it there.
Of course.
I think I found it.
Let's see what it knows. Okay, it's hardy and its ability is inner focus. Okay. This is not helpful to us.
Are you trying to teach something cut? Or what are we doing?
Oh yes, who knows cut? I think we taught it to our Oddish, didn't we?
Oddish knows. Oddish knows everything.
I like that you're trying to keep us back on schedule here. And then I want to move items and grab that. What are you holding? Take. Wait, how do I?
Stop it.
Take. Okay.
Oh, poor Vaporeon.
Is anybody else holding something? No. Okay, now who would be good to catch Dittos? We don't really have...
I figure you just keep throwing balls, maybe? Or get like a level 20... Like the Meowth! The Meowth was level 21. You know, if Ditto's level 23 to 30, the Meowth couldn't kill it. Because... Or Gyarados is level 21. Maybe Gyarados can attack. You know, Ditto.
Yeah, oh well, it becomes the type of Pokemon it's facing. So you want to bust out a Pokemon with a really... with a fairly easy catch rate.
Oh.
I think. I'd like to get up there. Get up there.
Using the magic of Pokemon. So Pokemon ZA. I feel like Pokemon owes us an apology. I've seen online other people feel the same way I do, so I don't feel too spicy having this opinion. And I think Ian, at least in some capacity, shares my opinion.
I do. Pidgey.
I thought you just used your bow because it's higher level.
Higher level.
Wow.
We ran into the only...
And it's devolved, but stronger than us.
Oh dear.
That's so sad.
I think that really encapsulates.
That's so sad.
Alright, we have spent 10 minutes looking for this patch of grass where we have it. Now we have to wait for the max repel to wear. Oh.
But you have on your person Pokeballs, right?
We do. We are.
Aw, hi, good friend.
We are rich with Ultra Balls.
Now, we already evolved a Venonat, so we don't have to worry about that. I was saying if we find something that's really high level that could evolve next level, it might be worth catching it just to do the Pokedex. Mm. Because while we potentially could catch... Oh.
A Bloom, speaking of.
Yeah, well, you potentially could just catch the next thing up. If you find it and it's just one level away, I mean, is there harm in catching it? Just to evolve it quick?
I don't think so.
Because then it takes the burden of trying to find that evolved Pokemon that only has a 5% rate in the wild or whatever, in whatever land you're trying to catch it in. I want to look up, because I don't know this. Once you have the National Pokedex, where can you catch the Johto and Hoenn region Pokemon?
I don't know, we caught a Gloom.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Alright, let's see. Oh, maybe... Okay, we have to wait for the repel to wear off, I think. Oh, wait.
Apparently, they're primarily in Islands 4 to 7. Okay, that makes sense. You unlock the National Dex, and instead of unlocking... But it would be cool if, you know, they were interspersed between all the places you've previously been. So the game will force you to go back to Pallet Town and redo your journey and potentially see things you didn't get in the first place. Because they always have things that you can surf and cut and smash right from the beginning. So you go back and do those, but also you could find something that's from a different region.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be fun. Because there's so many... So you're telling me this game is big enough just for the Kanto region. But the Hoenn and the Johto region together, two totally separate Pokedexes, on top of the one we have, are sufficient to be between 4 islands? Really? Really? You don't want to use any of the other lands that we have to disperse the Pokemons to make it fun?
There's also apparently a Pokemon tower, or a trainer tower, and apparently you can beat a certain amount of trainers to get some items, like a dragon scale to get Kingdra, for example.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, we should look at the Pokedex now. That's something you wanted to do.
Yeah, and I also want to think about trading, because there's a bunch of trades we established. There were 4 or 5 trades you can do in the game to get other Pokemon, and I kind of like to look at those.
Okay, let's look at this.
Why is the National Dex, is it 132 different Pokemon, or does it just have 1 extra Pokemon?
Okay, we've seen...
Oh, we've seen... Oh, I thought that was underneath there were. And I was like, there's an error, per se? Oh, it actually has a thing called Rare Pokemon? That's fun. Oh, it's not by number.
This is alphabetical.
That's...
But I think you can do it... you can do it lightest to heaviest.
That isn't helpful. Can you go to Rare? I want to see what Rare says.
Where's Rare? Oh.
If you go up a little bit, it's right above Search. Oh.
1 of 1.
Well, okay, we just have to know. What does urban Pokemon mean? Is that just the Rattavus?
Yeah, I hope so. Okay,
in the newer games, when Repel wears off, a prompt comes up asking you if you'd like to automatically use another one. And the amount of times I've accidentally hit yes when I don't want to is impressive. So, I'm glad that isn't an option in this game. That's one benefit of the older games.
I wonder if this is actually the Ditto patch.
Well, yeah, Pokemon ZA. I asked this several episodes ago, but do you remember the nonsense that was the final battle? Now, as you may know, Pokefans, in Pokemon, the final battle usually is the highest level Pokemon, the most strategy is required, or the least strategy is required, depending on how you play. Like me, I use no strategy, I just hit him in the face. But it should be the hardest cumulative battle in the game. And in ZA, what did they have the audacity to make the final battle?
It was between... So we were some sort of...
Floette.
It was against Floette?
No, we had Floette. Remember the black one?
No, we were Zygarde. Remember we were that, like, green Dragon Ball Z looking character?
But I thought we used the Floette, the one that, the Zier, like, the hotel manager owner had that black Floette. And it turned out he revived it from the dead or something, so it was black. And he was a king, but he wasn't a king from the past, and it was very poorly conceived. And the black Floette became ours after battle.
It eventually did, but I don't... In the final battle, we took the form of the Zygarde.
But either way, how did the final battle transpire?
It transpired by almost a cutscene type interaction where the player just clicked Pokemon moves and the enemy died. Would you mind just quickly double checking if this is the right patch of grass?
Yeah, but it was against Floette. You were right. We didn't have it. It was against Floette. Grass, Patch, Ditto, FireRed. This is how adults type.
I want to make sure we're on the right route. But I'm going to take your advice and use Pidgeotto's fly map, in case we're wrong.
Route 13, 14, and 15.
13, 14, and 15?
Yeah, routes 13, 14, and 15. A notable patch of grass on Route 14 is accessible after using Cut on a tree, which has a high 15% encounter rate for Ditto. So I think we're exactly...
Oh.
I think we were at the notable patch of grass.
We're there,
It's 15%.
15%.
I mean, I think you just have to be okay with the fact that we're gonna have to try for a little bit.
Okay. Well, since it's a little lower than I thought, what we're gonna do, Abby, is not worry although we need one to breed the Aerodactyl.
We need at least one Ditto.
We need at least one Ditto, so let's get at least one.
It's gonna be okay. It's only been like 5 minutes of looking for Ditto. It's gonna be okay. We have time. Technically, this isn't a job where a boss is looking over our shoulder saying, hey, you have to get this done by 5 p.m. or, I don't know, the stock market will close. I don't know what jobs are. Ian and I both work for ourselves, so it's kind of a nice perk.
It's funny that we can't escape even though we're quite a bit higher level.
That's what the Pokédoll is for.
I probably shouldn't have sold that cleanse tag that you get at the tower.
Yeah.
Because I think the cleanse tag, if you hold it,
increases your chances of running away?
Yeah.
I believe in you. But anyway, the final battle in ZA was just a cutscene where instead of using any skill, you had the option to choose between, was it 2 or 3 moves?
Yes. I think it was... I felt like it was 4, but only 2 of them... Like, he would, prompt you to pick one of the 2. It was 1,000 arrows, 1,000 waves.
Yeah.
And then you just...
You got to pick a pre-selected move on a Pokemon you didn't know and never played with before. Yeah, you're right, because Zygarde was stalking us the whole game. And it was a cutscene. They took the final battle and made it a cutscene. Why? Why?
It was a little odd. And the other thing I didn't love about that game... So, I'll say what I did like. I liked that there was good diversity of Pokemon you could catch. Like, your team could be quite tailored. There was a good mix of Pokemon from the early game, the new games, all that stuff. I like that.
But there weren't any new Pokemon in ZA, were there? Except the Black Floette. I can't think of any that were unique to that game.
No, I don't think it introduced any. Abby, I don't think this is the right patch. 15% is a little higher than this.
Let me see. The pictures online show the same patch. This is the patch.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Gotta find Ditto.
We're in the right patch.
Seems maybe I'll get off the bike.
Maybe the bicycle is scaring me.
Maybe Ditto does not like bikes.
I don't know.
So I did like that. One thing I didn't like was it was sort of very easy to level up. So in games where, and I really didn't like this in Sword and Shield, and especially in Scarlet and Violet. Any of the games that have used, Gloom knows Sleep Powder. I wonder if we know Sleep Powder.
Yeah. We do!
How fun.
That is a Pokemon full of moves you would love.
This is
all status.
Yeah, this is like, if we find a Ditto, I just go to sleep. Although we're already asleep. But I wonder if it will change into a sleeping Pokemon. That'd be pretty funny.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah. So, in Sword and Shield, and I don't think any time before that, but in Sword and Shield they instituted... Ta-da! That did feel like a bit longer. Let's transform it into us.
Aww.
And we...
Now I want to catch more than one. Because that really wasn't that bad.
We are fast asleep. Yes, you woke up. Nice work, Gloom. Yes, Gloom.
Yay, friend.
This is great. So a Pokemon that can put others to sleep is really helpful because it means that when we throw our Ultra Ball, it just greatly increases the catch chance. I think we may even catch this off the hop. I know it's a level 23, but...
Yay! Can we try to catch maybe one more? Or are we in a rush?
No, I don't think so. Like, really, we're rolling the dice to get a good nature on this one, so it'll help our breeding, but the odds of that are pretty low. Yeah. Nevertheless, it's worth rolling the dice. So, what I was saying is, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, in the raids and various other places, you could get experience, little crystals that you could feed to your Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I just remembered during the playthrough, there was a point where it was absurdly easy to take one or two Pokemon and get them to like very high levels, like level 90, when you're fighting like level, I don't remember exactly, but I feel like it was like level 50 or 60. And I think Abi approves of that, but I think it's important to keep the difficulty scale going up as the game progresses. It progresses. I think it should start easier.
I think my play style is trying to get every Pokemon I own to a high level. Is essentially my goal in my play style. So I have the power to pick any Pokemon I want at any time, and they're all suitable for battle. So having all those crystals, I still got them at a rate that to level up every Pokemon you catch, you still can't do it. So I think there was still an element of I really needed to train with them in order to accomplish my goals. Because I was mostly using the crystals on Pokemon I didn't really want to fight with. So but I can totally see your point, because if you only have 6 Pokemon you want to use, why would you bother using them on anything else?
Yeah, and again, the philosophy being the game should get harder. I should begin to master the mechanics of the game and not easier. And I think Pokemon Red's done a great job of this. Like that Elite Four was tricky. But in Sword and Shield, the gyms got easier as the gap in levels became more apparent because of the crystals. Scarlet did the same thing. Just
a criticism on Scarlet and Violet. In case anyone from Niantic ever hears any of this, or any of you agree, and then maybe we can put it out there in the world and Niantic will care. Do you remember those, they had sort of raid hubs in Scarlet and Violet. So there was like a beam of light, you went into the beam of light, you and 3 other trainers, and it was a Pokemon. The problem with those was if it was a Pokemon that was middle of the road hard to really hard, it was impossible to beat and win unless you had 4 humans playing. Ian and I sort of established this because I think they had like Mewtwo raids or something, because it's attached to the internet. So they had special raids at certain times and certain days, right? But we learned after seriously trying for like 2 days in earnest, attempting to win, we could not win any. And it wasn't for a lack of skill, it wasn't for a lack of trying. We even went to the internet and got all of the Pokemon you're supposed to get with all of the moves you were supposed to get, and we still were unable to win any of those raids and get any of the Mewtwo as an example, or I think it was a Charizard actually. I think it was Charizard I wanted to get. And Ian tried really hard because he knew I wanted one. But unless you had 2 other humans to play with you, it wasn't sufficient that 2 humans and 2 NPCs were playing. The NPCs were not strong enough to win any of those raids. So you essentially could not win any raids unless you had friends, at least 3 friends. And I thought that was kind of sucky.
Yeah, that was... I remember that because it was one of the times, and I don't like to do this, but we Googled the ideal team and moveset and composition to succeed in these raids. And even then,
with both of us doing that,
it required a level of execution that we really didn't have either. And then, so yeah, that was a bit odd that that would be a mechanic. But it also reminds me a bit of why I didn't love the parts of Pokemon Go, because Abby and I live in a pretty rural place. And so when we click on a raid and there's a Dialga or something we really want that's like a 70,000 challenge, the odds of, when you're in a town of like, whatever it is, a small town,
yeah,
the odds of 6 other trainers showing up to help you are negligible. So we always thought that how they could have done it
Is scale it a little bit.
is just scale it for how many players are in it. So it's possible to solo it, or it's possible to do it in a team. Okay, so we're gonna check their summary. Wow, modest nature. That is a sign if I've ever seen one.
Is that good?
It's the best.
Okay. Quiet nature, is that good?
No.
Oh.
But modest is good. That means...
Make sure you bring out the right one.
Yeah. So what that means is when we breed, we're going to hatch your Togepi. If it's not modest, we'll breed it with that modest one to make a modest level 1 Togepi. And the other thing is IVs of bred Pokemon tend to be higher.
I know you said bred Pokemon as in Pokemon hatched from an egg, but I thought you meant bred as in BREAD, like the food. And I was picturing Fido from, do you remember It's Made of a Baguette?
Oh, yes.
I was picturing literal Pokemon made of bread. And I was like, the bread Pokemon, they're not in this generation or any of the next ones.
Yikes. Okay, so those are, that's one of the reasons we didn't really get into the Mystic ticket. Wait, we don't want to go there yet. We don't want to go there yet. We want to go to the,
Sevi Islands.
Sevia, Naval Rack and Birth.
That's Deoxys and Lugia?
And Ho-Oh.
Ho-Oh. Dang, okay.
So once we, later down the road, we are eventually going to get a high-level Togetic that will have Yawn and be able to put things to sleep, and it will be able to catch Pokemons easily. Hopefully, we hope.
Hopefully.
Is this the...
Another criticism of Pokemon Go is it becomes very pay to play, and the problem is, because it's rural where we live, if there was a gym, if you have the right, even once a day, to be able to do a raid or go to a location not near you for free and participate in a raid, I think I have something like, over the years, there's a daily raid pass, and then there's extra general raid passes that if you're physically standing at the location, you can do raids. So normally you're limited to at the most 2 raids a day because you get a daily raid pass, and if you didn't claim one that day, you can reclaim one. Okay. I think I have something like 54 additional raid passes because they're given out for free over the years as challenge prizes or whatever that I can't really use because it would mean that I would have to be far away from my home, just standing in front of a gym when it happens to be a raid, and I would have already had to have used a free raid pass and the second free raid pass I would have been given. So it's unlikely I will ever do 3 raids in person in a day. Distance raid passes cost money. Occasionally they give them out for free. There's been some times where you get them as part of like an event or something. That's great. Super awesome. Thank you. And also, I always put my Pokemon in gyms whenever we go into town, which is fun. And then they can earn up to 50 Pokecoins a day, and you get it when it's kicked out of the gym. So if I put in 10 Pokemon in one day into 10 different gyms, if they happen to be kicked out on different days, I can earn some good money. So over the years, I have managed to earn money to buy a few raid passes as well that way. Like, I had 2 different Pokemon kicked out today, and I made like 50 Pokecoins. Amazing. But I don't like that essentially my only option to do any kind of raid is to use, distance raid pass. And what are you doing?
I'm looking.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is... I'm watching you, just confused. But I also don't like Ian's place of work. Occasionally I go with him, and it is about 10 feet too far away to use a gym. So even if I'm there, even if there's a raid that's right there, unless I physically leave his work, which requires a pass to get back in, which I don't have because I don't work there, I would have to physically leave and walk down the street in order to be able to use a regular raid pass. So it annoys me that the range isn't bigger for regular raids, and that even once a day, because we don't live near any, even just the, not, like the Pokestops, just like, not even the gyms, but just the ones you spin to get Pokeballs and whatever. We don't even live near one of those, so it annoys me that I can't even once a day, just do a distance raid without having to pay for it. Just one. Or even once a week. Or once a month. Even once a year I'd take. Because right now, it is never. And never is not enough. And I don't like that I can never spend... Like, I have to physically drive 35 minutes with Ian into town in order to be able to access most of Pokemon's features, which is really annoying. I still like Pokemon Go, though. Maybe, one of these times, if they keep putting Pokemon games out there, or if we redo any of the other Pokemon games, I will transfer some of my really cool Pokemon from Pokemon Go into those games, and maybe we can do a challenge where we have to use the random Pokemon with whatever moves and IVs and stats they have in some kind of challenge. Would that be fun?
That would be fun.
Because I've got a bunch of shiny legendaries. Like, I've got a bunch of really cool stuff from playing since 2016. Because random stuff pops up. And also, I have a couple friends who are very avid players who've been on vacation to other countries where they have the live events. And they've traded stuff with me because they're nice people. So, I think I have some cool stuff. And maybe that'll be the redemption of Pokemon Go. Maybe I will give and sacrifice what I have captured in Pokemon Go to one of the Pokemon games we play together. Thank you for coming to my Pokemon TED Talk.
That was quite something. While you were doing that, I talked Gyarados Rock Smash, because usually in the Pokemon games, by a daycare, they'll have like a long kind of pathway to do your steps.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if
It'd be funny if the rock comes back every time it goes off screen.
Oh, and it wasn't. It wasn't that long. I mean...
In Diamond, there's a really nice... It looks like a cowboy town. I forget which town it is, but there's a really nice road. You can just go up and down on your bike.
Yeah, that's... I know what you're talking
about. Yeah. Oh, that's the best place. I spent many an hour there. Your Ditto and Abra are doing fine. Thanks for asking for the 40th time. Alright, maybe we should pause here, and then we can continue trying to hatch Togepi in the next episode.
Is there a little... Does he, like, step forward if there's an egg? In Pokemon Emerald, he steps forward if there's an egg. I guess we'll find out. Okay, join us next episode when we find out if the old man steps forward if there's an egg.
Yay!
Well, it'd be nice if we don't have to ask him a bajillion times. But we have a modest Ditto. That's a very good sign.
If he does do that. Again, I didn't know that was a thing. All these small things, I'm impressed that you've noticed over the years, because I was oblivious.
Well, I could be wrong.
Thanks for joining us. It's been fun, guys. Have a great day.